single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Chenelle Beauty, and today I have a little different video about riding with rideshare companies. I'm giving about 20 tips, so stay tuned. Alright, so tip number one is going to be when you open the app and you are about to request for a ride, you want to make sure that it is on the correct type of vehicle, because Uber has made some changes, and now they've had the double XL, which is going to be the larger one. You're going to 9 times out of 10 get like an SUV truck type of vehicle, and then they just added not too long ago the comfortable ride for comfort. It's basically you requesting for the temperature to be a certain temperature for water or snacks or something like that, more room in the car for your leg. It's crazy, and they actually charge more for that. So you have double XL, which is the highest, and it's going to come in like a SUV. So if you have like a group of friends or you have something very large that you need to get in the car, you would want to probably choose that one. The comfort one, I feel like, is not really something that you necessarily need, but if you absolutely need to request for something, then they do have that option now, and it's going to be the one right in the middle. And then you have the regular Uber, which is going to be I think it's just called like Uber X or something like that. It's going to be the cheapest. So I have noticed that, and I'm a regular with Uber and Lyft. I have noticed that with Uber, when I open my app, a lot of the times it's automatically on comfort, and I'm not used to that being there. So I have got caught slipping a couple of times with it being on comfort and me getting charged more for my ride than expected. So always make sure that at the bottom you are choosing the one that is for your budget. Number two, when you are able to request for the ride and the driver pops up, for safety precaution and just for your own record, you want to screenshot it if you can. Screenshot the screen. It will have their card model, it will have probably a picture of them, it will have their name, and it will have their tag number. So you want to make sure that you copy this information just in case you may need it in the future, or if you want to send it to somebody that you trust, which was kind of like one of my other ones. So I guess we can put that as number 3. You want to be able to send the screenshot, or at least the information about the driver in the car, to somebody that you trust for just safety precaution, especially like a person like me. I'm a female, I'm very small, I'm 9 times out of 10 by myself riding with these Uber drivers. I don't care if it's a lady or a man, I am screenshotting it and I'm sending it to somebody. So that is another good tip. So we're going to put that as number 3. Always make sure that you send some type of information about that ride to somebody that you trust. Okay, so number 4 is going to be, make sure, if you absolutely can, make sure that you do not cancel the ride within 5 minutes of the person approaching to your house, or to your location, because if it's 5 minutes or less, I know a lot of times Lyft do it sometimes, but especially Uber, they will charge you possibly for you canceling the ride. So sometimes I have to do that, like if I'm going to work and the person is like either not understanding me because they speak another language, or they're totally out of my whole residential area where I'm at, like my whole location, like they just totally went the wrong way, they're not answering the phone. Like, I would just eat that money if they happen to charge me. I think sometimes they may let it pass, but they will give you a warning that before you cancel the ride, you may get charged $5 for this ride. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so number 5 is, I feel like, is really helpful to the driver, and it's just also preventing you from having to stand outside longer than you need to. Try to, when you notice that the driver is like maybe like 1 or 2 minutes away from you, try to make sure that you try to shoot them a text. Sometimes even calling may help, and just letting them know, like, the color outfit you have on. I'm sorry, and just letting them know the color outfit you have on, and also like what type of surroundings is around you, what the building says, or you know, if they have to make like a quick left, like let them know this information so that it's not difficult for them to find you. I have gotten a lot of thank yous over this, and like I said, I'm a regular with rideshare companies, and they really appreciate when you do that because it just makes it easier for everybody, you know. Okay, so number 7 is really important, like really important. Make sure, even if it's a car that looks like the one that you should be getting in, make sure that you are double checking the model of the car that you're supposed to be looking for, the color of it, how the person looks, if you can see through like the window or something, and I had something else, the tag number, especially the tag number. And yeah, so just make sure that you're checking that it is the correct car. And also when you approach the car, you can either tell them to roll their window down, or you can kind of like open the back door and like ask them like, who are you looking for, you know, or what is your name, type of situation. Even if they have like the sticker, like the Uber or the Lyft sticker in their window, you want to always make sure that you're getting in the right car, because for one, you could be getting in somebody else's Uber, and that can be a hot mess. Or I think when I first started, that actually happened to me. I think I got in somebody else's Uber, and I was out like by myself, I think, and you know, I feel bad for that because I think that did happen to me before. But yeah, just make sure that you're getting in the right car. And also, just recently, a young lady got killed over getting in the wrong car. She thought it was her Uber car. She clearly was probably out drinking, and she ended up getting killed. So just make sure that you are getting in the correct car that you have requested for. Okay, so number 8, tip number 8 will be, when you are getting in the car, try to make sure that you are sitting behind the passenger seat. If you are alone, try to make sure you are sitting behind the passenger seat. If you have a group of people, then of course you can kind of sit wherever you want. But if you are riding alone, you want to make sure that you have a full view of the driver, and you want to make sure that they have a full view of you. So it makes it less awkward as well. You don't want to sit behind the driver and then it can turn around and like attack you. Try not to sit in the front seat. I have a couple of times had people say, oh, come sit in the front, and I'm like, don't be afraid to say I don't feel comfortable sitting in the front. I would rather sit in the back, or no thank you, I would rather sit in the back, you know, just say something like that. Now, one time I remember, like, because mostly men would do it to me, but I know like one time this girl did it, and she had like something in the back seat, like I couldn't sit in the back anyway. So it's very awkward though, and this is to the drivers, please, if you can, do not ask the rider to sit in the front seat with you if they don't know you, because it's very awkward. That's very close vicinity for me to be sitting next to somebody that I don't know in a car. It's not like we're in the office and we sitting down and we're waiting for our name to get called type of thing. Like a big space, like a car is a very small space, so for me to be sitting that close and then it's like it's locked in, you know, that's very just strange. It just makes the ride just so awkward and so uncomfortable. And especially too when you talking on the phone with somebody, you know, like I don't know you like that. That's very unprofessional as well. So just, you know, just keep that in mind. If you can, just always sit behind the passenger seat. And you want to be as far away from the driver anyway, and that's another reason you would want to do it. So just in case you need to hop out the car, it's a longer reach for them to try to grab you or something like that, you know. And this goes to number 10, which is you want to carry something on you without it being so obvious. Like on my keychain, I have a can of mace, and I sometimes bring my pink stun gun with me as well. But you also you always want to have something on you, because you don't never want to get too comfortable with life, period, and you feel like, oh, that will never happen to me type of situation. You want to always be prepared. Pray that it don't ever happen, but you want to always be prepared just in case. So always try to keep something on you, so that you can just, you know, if you need to, you can just protect yourself. I personally, being that I'm so small, would rather kind of carry mace on me than a taser, because when you carry a taser, taser, you have to actually kind of touch the person. You do have to actually touch the person, and that's making contact with them that I don't want to have to deal with. With mace, my mace, I could be, I think, 5 feet away, and it's going to get them and get them real good. So I always carry my mace on me, and sometimes I make it obvious. If they start kind of acting kind of wild, I make sure that I have my keys in my hand and they can see that can, honey. All right, so I think this is number 12, and you always, well, it might be number 11, but we're just gonna go for number 12. But you always want to feel the driver out, and I'm pretty sure they do the same thing when you get in the car. Some drivers like to talk and they want to have an open conversation with you. Some is just, it's very just about life and just different things that's going on in the world. And then sometimes they get a little personal, but try to like switch it back over to something that's like, don't get too personal with these people. Some of these people is crazy. But just try to feel the driver out, like, to see if they want conversation or if they don't want conversation. If they're giving you like short answers, or just kind of like they didn't greet you when you got in the car, like just get on your phone and just like mind your business. And if the music playing, then it's not awkward anyway. So just like, just whatever. People have different personalities, and you just have to feel the people out. If they get in the car, if you get in the car and they're actually they're really bubbly and just like, hi, how you doing, and stuff like that, and just kind of having a conversation with you before they even pull off, have a conversation with the person. Especially if the ride is like 5-10 minutes long, like that's not gonna hurt you. Like, if you don't want to talk, act like you're on your phone talking to somebody. Or just have your headphones on. They'll feel you out. Because sometimes, it happens very rare, but sometimes, like, if I'm going to work, even though I work like 5 minutes from my house, if I'm going to work and I don't feel like talking because I have to talk for 8 hours straight on the phone, like, I would just kind of like just be quiet. Like, I would speak. You always want to speak, but I will give them the vibe that I don't want to talk. I will be like my headphones on, or something like that. So some of the stuff I already talked about was like 12, 13, and 14, which is like, it's the music on or off, like feel the vibe out for the driver, and don't get personal in your conversation. I don't run into like very few, but some people that want to ask you like how many kids you have, where do you live, or like just something personal like that, how many siblings you have. It's like, this is not a date or an interview. Like, just take me to my destination. So if they ask those type of questions, I just blatantly tell them like, I don't really feel comfortable talking about that type of stuff, but I say it in a way that is nice and they can still have like an open conversation with me. So yeah, those are pretty like much like 12, 13, and 14 that I have. Just always keep it cute with your conversation. You don't know these people from a can of paint 9 times out of 10, so just like keep it cute. Oh yeah, so this would be like number 15. So if you having a conversation with somebody, sometimes y'all can get carried away, because this done happened plenty of times, and it wasn't necessarily the driver's fault. But if it has happened, or if it does happen to you, if you see a turn coming up or somewhere that you need to be, and the driver seems a little preoccupied in the conversation, like, don't be afraid to like cut them off and be like, oh, I'm sorry to cut you off, but my you supposed to turn right here, type of situation. Because if they miss a turn, a lot of the times, like, you may not be lucky and they have to go all the way up somewhere and then kind of go out the way. Just always remember, like, you're paying for this ride, like, so don't be afraid to like stop them and be like, yo, like, you have to turn right here, so that they don't miss their turn and you can get to your destination without having to pay like extra money. Number 16 would be nice and respectful to these people in their cars. A lot of people think just because they're paying for a ride that they do not have to be respectful. They think that they can leave their trash in there, talk crazy in the car, talk crazy to the people. Like, I done heard stories about like people wanting to have conversations with the riders, and they just like, just shut up and take me to my destination type of thing. Like, don't do that. And then you get mad when they kick you out your car. That's their car, like, regardless. Like, they're literally giving you a lift, Uber, whatever you want to say. Like, don't be disrespectful, especially if you need to go somewhere important. Like if you need to get to work or something like that, you need to be nice to these people, because they have every right to put you out their car, whether you pay for it or not. It's their property. So just always remember that. Being nice goes a long way. And if you like me that ride with these rideshare companies a lot, they do rate you, and your rating can determine whether or not you can ride with the rideshare company. So I don't really drive. I don't like driving. So I ride with them very often, and I need my stuff to be very high so that I am able to still ride with the company. Because if it gets under, I believe if it gets under like 4.5 rating, then you can be on like probation for like 3 or 4 months, sometimes even 6. And the same thing with them. Like if they get bad ratings and it goes under a certain percentage, like if it's like under 4.5, like they can get in trouble too and stop riding with the company, stop driving with the company for like a couple of months. It's like they will put you on a probationary period. So don't think like those little ratings don't matter, because it does. Number 17 will be, if the driver seems shady, which has happened to me as well. If the driver seems shady and it seems like you should not be riding with this person, always follow your gut. And just, even if, okay, so don't be afraid to cancel the ride if you need to, even before getting in the car. You might be like, dang, but like I don't want to cancel and get charged for it. But in certain situations, like even though I said try to not to cancel if it's 5 minutes or less, if it's a very dire situation, or it's just like this situation where you don't feel comfortable with the driver, like cancel it. They do have a help option on the app, and you can ask for a refund, and 9 times out of 10 they will refund you the money. So you know, you may temporarily get charged for it, but when you reach out to them and kind of explain the situation and they do their homework on it, then you know, you will probably get refunded. I think this is number 18. So number 18 will be if there is more than one person in the car. 9 times out of 10 from like my experience, it's going to be the driver's like first couple of rides that they have somebody in the car with them. They just do it for like a safety precaution, just like you would do certain things for a safety precaution. Like a lot of the times if they have somebody in the passenger seat with them, yeah, it's uncomfortable and it's like what the fuck, but they probably are doing it for that reason, so that they can kind of get used to riding with strangers, and then they'll eventually start doing it by themselves. So a lot of the times they will actually tell you that. They'll introduce the person and be like, you know, this is like my first ride, you know, so I just want to make sure like I'm good with this before I start doing it by myself. So that's probably what it is. Now, once again, if you feel a little iffy about it, then if it looked like you may be on some human trafficking stuff, then you just cancel the ride. Like, and just, if you want to, just be upfront. Just be like, you know, I don't feel comfortable with this, you know, and just, you know, cancel it. Try to request for another one. Get your money back. Number 19 will be, when you arrive to your destination, and I shouldn't have to say this, but a lot of people don't have manners, say thank you. Like, say thank you for the ride. Say thank you and get out the ride and check the card before you close the door. Make sure that all of your stuff is with you. Make sure you're not leaving trash or any type of stuff like that. Drinks, anything like that. Like, always make sure all of your stuff, your phone, is with you. And then, you know, say thank you, politely close your door, don't shut it, and, you know, just going about your way. The last one would be rate the ride. Rate the ride, because just like I said, how the riders get rated, it determines whether or not you can ride with the rideshare company. The drivers also get rated too, and I'm pretty sure it's more important for them because they are somewhat employed with the company. So you want to make sure that you rate the ride, help them out. If it was bad, say it's bad. These both Lyft and Uber have it so thorough that like you can rate it, and then they'll let you pick why you rated it that way. It could be like driving, GPS, cleanliness, you know, conversation, and all types of things, and you can pick those things. And then they even have like a little note box that you can like be more specific about it. Also too, if you rate them like a 5, like awesome, you can leave a note on their profile for other riders to see, like, this person was so awesome, conversation was great, they had water in the car, they had this and that, they had a charger in the car, like, you know, like that. Yeah, and then just try to tip if you can. If the ride was really good, try to tip them, because just talking to drivers every day, I have learned that they hardly get paid anything. I think they get like, if the ride is like $12, I think they only get like $5, if that. And they kind of are very similar to like a waiter. So just remember, like, a lot of the times they go off of their tips to survive. So just, you know, if you can, try to tip them. I don't tip every ride, but try to tip them. I also have people sometimes will help me with my groceries to my door, and you know, I definitely try to tip them with that. So you can either tip them with cash, or you can tip them on the app. But just, you know, when you can do it, you don't have to do it every ride, but when you can, just try to tip the people, especially if they were awesome. Like, try to do that. I can't really think of nothing else. This video is already pretty long, but those are just like a good 20 tips on how to kind of approach riding with a rideshare company. Just use your common sense, and if something doesn't feel right, you know, I would rather take that hit of money, regardless if, you know, I get charged or it get reimbursed to me, than to risk my life in a situation. So just make sure that your common sense, make sure that you are paying attention before getting in a car. Make sure that it is your driver. When you are in the car, make sure you're not going all out your way, and just always carry something on you, but be very discreet about it. And don't be acting like you scared either. Just, like, you know, get in the car, be like, hello, how you doing? You know, make sure that they kind of know like you ain't the one to fuck with, because like I said, there's crazy people in this world. Sometimes people be using other people's apps that they know, and it's crazy. So just make sure, like, if anything, just make sure that they tell you who they are looking for, because you don't want to be like, are you such and such? And then they can just easily say, yeah, I'm such and such. You want to always be like, who are you looking for? Okay. And then just get in the car, be respectful, mind your business, fill things out. And yeah, so thank y'all so much for watching. I do have other videos up, and it's pretty much story times. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you think this video could be helpful for somebody, please share this video, like the video, and comment if you have any tips as well for rideshare companies. It's not as bad as you think. My first ride with Uber, it was like an older lady, and she took me like way across town. But it's like, I don't know, like, it wasn't weird for me. Like, I don't think, the only time I got weirded out with drivers and just riding with them is if either the car is not clean, or like they just are acting weird. So those are the only times that I kind of get weirded out by it. But it's really not as bad as you think. It's actually pretty easy, and you just have to, I'm an introvert, and it's not hard for me, so I can still just know that, let me get to my destination. So just, you know, if you need to have a conversation with them, just have a conversation with them. What is it going to hurt you, you know? So yeah, so just stay tuned for other videos. I'm gonna try to, maybe if I remember other things, try to maybe make a part 2 to this. Like I said, comment below if you have, you know, information or tips that you would like to provide. And thank y'all so much for tuning in.